Hello and welcome to ABW Radio Live. Home or away, win or lose, ABW Radio is your place to share Arsenal views. I am your host, Kris, and I'm back. Hello, everybody. I've had 3 shows off. Danny was this close to giving me a P45 and promoting Jace to head boy. But
whoa.
but I couldn't leave Jace off the show, so I've dragged him back on again to do yet another piece of podcasting this week, and he's joined by Mr. Shredder. Afternoon, gentlemen.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Jace, you're looking a bit Ellis Mel today. You sat in the dark.
I'm all sat in the dark, bro.
True.
I can't be asked to turn the lights on. I'm just.
Well, I mean,
it's very witness protection-y.
Yeah, if they can't see you, they can't accuse you of the crime at the end of the day. So, that's fine by me. Right. Good afternoon to everybody in the chat room who's there. I can see a few regular faces there. Hello, Korosh, and Josh, and Noma, and Daniel, and lots of people. Hello to you all. Right. Let's get straight to it then, gents. Initial thoughts: Sunderland 1, Arsenal 4. Mr. Davies, what did you think?
I thought first half we were really decent. We were a bit wasteful in front of goal. I think they are poor. I think they are very poor. I'm really annoyed with the refereeing again. Considering against Swansea we have Xhaka red carded for a challenge with no attempt to go for the ball. And yet Stephen Pienaar is allowed to get away with it scot-free. No yellow card today. And then later on picks up a rock-solid yellow card, which should have been a second yellow one off. And no, it's okay. It's against the Arsenal. It's fine. Leave him get on with it. It really, really annoyed me. It really pissed me off. That combined with our profligacy in front of goal did not do my temper any good. We should have had a penalty second half, I felt, with Sanchez. I think there was enough. There's a clear pullback. It's Atkinson again. Lets it go. And at 1-1, it was getting slightly frustrating. And then the re-emergence of Oli Giroud. Fantastic. I thought some of the goals we scored today were top quality with regard to finishing. And Sanchez first, great header. Oli Giroud's first wonderful finish, dragging his foot back and putting it in the box, put it to bed. The header was really well placed. The poor keeper didn't have a chance. And the dancing ballet feet of Sanchez for the fourth was, and the interplay coming up to it was quite superb. Was it a penalty for them? Yes, it was. If it had been against us, we'd be screaming for it. Watmore did make the most of it, but then Coughlin with the high foot later, I don't think he was touched. I really don't think he got caught that badly. I think he made a meal of it. The only disappointments today were Iwobi. I thought he was average, and I'm not a fan of El Nene and Coughlin together. Coughlin deep lying, being a holding midfielder, is far, far, far more effective than Coughlin further up the pitch. He doesn't add a hell of a lot. But it's 3 good points. It adds to the goal difference. Another 4 goals scored. Ramsey coming back on the pitch. Kieran Gibbs having a decent day, though not tested really. Very happy. Very happy.
Happy Welshman. This is always good. This is a good start. Let's see if we can find ourselves a happy American as well. Jace, what have you got to add to what the other Jace has said? I mean, comfortable in the end. Little bit of a not. I don't think you can ever say a wobble, but very quintessentially Arsenal for 20 minutes in the second half, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And what's funny is I had, by the way, I think Jace summed it up very, very well there. I just, it was, whenever we, right before we actually conceded, I was like, man, like it feels really good to have like Mustafi and Koscielny back there. Like you feel like there's never a time when, we could just easily concede like we have in the past out of individual mistakes, and then sort of right then that sort of awkward landing ball comes flying in from the clears from their keeper, and it sort of bounces awkwardly off of Mustafi. So it's but yeah, no, we were able to pull it back, and and really the good thing is we didn't lose our focus after that. We were shaken for about 5 minutes, and then we sort of just brought it right back around. So that was really good to see. I will say I do think people are being a little harsh on Iwobi. He's going to have some poor games. He's still really, really young. I do think he probably needs to be rotated, and I totally agree with Jason, specifically the fact that I'm just not comfortable with Elneny and Coquelin together at all. Neither one of them, I think, has played enough together to have the sort of rapport where, okay, you go forward now and I'll stay back, or no, you go forward and I'll stay back. One of them needs to be a true holding midfielder and just sit in front of the back four, Coquelin, looking at you, pal. And I think Elneny's a better distributor, and he needs to be the one sort of linking up play between the defense and the attackers. That's really how I feel that should shake out. But it's there were some times when I thought they were able to just sort of run through our midfield because neither one of those two had a true grasp on what their role is, and were maybe just a step or two out of position. But other than that, it was actually really great to see Coquelin get on the end of a ball and try to beat the defense, which was also probably not the player we want in that position. But hey, more power to him for putting himself in that place. So, but yeah, I thought it was overall it was very good. I was a little disappointed because in the predictions league I had predicted 3-1 Sanchez. So that was I'll take 4-1, but Sanchez needs to realize that I'm trying to win my own league over here, and he needs to be a little less selfish.
I went 1-0. I went 1-0 Mustafi in the end because I thought it was going to be one of those like really tight kind of close encounters games where you just scratch a late corner, and like Burnley, I guess that's how I thought it was going to play out. But equally, I wrote a piece yesterday saying about the same thing, saying that I thought we would either win and it would be really tight and cagey, or we would just take them apart. And there was a period where, was it 3 goals in 7 minutes or something stupid? I mean, we could easily have had 5 or 6 in the end, but we'll settle for 4. Jace, just looking at the a couple of the individual performances, we'll start with Alexis then. 2 goals today, playing as a centre forward again, and 2 classic centre forward goals. That header from, was it a 21 passing move, I think it was. Lovely cross from Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, which is nice because it's usually been his downfall. And then a real poacher's header. I mean, if that was an Alan Shearer on the end of it, you'd have said, yep, that's pretty standard goal scoring. So it's nice of him to pop up with a headed goal, isn't it? Oh, you've gone quiet, Chase.
Someone's muted.
No. You take that, Jace, while I wait for the other.
Sorry,
no, it's back.
sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah, I muted myself. I'm a donkey. I do apologise.
Sorry.
Yeah, one of the things I've been clamouring for Alexis to do is play that sort of centre forward role, so to speak. I mean, I know he's playing up top, but he's not playing a typical centre forward role at times, where he actually hangs off the centre half. And for the first goal, I thought he did it wonderfully. It's what I've been wanting him to do. It's not that I'm right, but he's so sharp around there. He's got such a burst on him that it's it's a joy to watch at times. And he did it wonderfully. He really, really did. Take advantage of the lack of ability of the centre half, and he finished wonderfully. I thought, again, he comes a bit too deep for my liking. It's an annoyance. But that's the guy, isn't it? That's who he is. That he's never going to be what I want him to be as a player. He's never going to be what we all kind of see, what we deem as a typical centre forward. He's got a bit too much about him, a bit too much energy for that. But I thought he performed well. He did what we needed him to do, and yeah, I was chuffed to bits with him. To be fair, I was really, really chuffed to bits with him. I can see him actually, developing that role and improving. Yeah, actually, I've seen him developing the role and improving. He is going to have the days where he's incredibly frustrating, a la Middlesbrough. But everybody's an off day. I just thought, the finish on the last goal. I know he's gone back out to the wing for Giroud to come on, but that's the type of thing we've seen Theo do against Swansea, and he's doing it now. It's what will win you a title if he carries on doing it.
Agreed. Some good points there. That second finish, I almost liked it almost as much as the first, just because of the clever switch of feet and the clever sort of ability just to nick it in. Really good finish that. But Jace, let's talk about us going kind of backwards order to the other end. Olivier Giroud, who's back, 2
Surprised
touches.
that you would come to me to talk about Giroud.
Well, who better? Comes off the bench, 2 goals.
Yeah.
There's a brilliant tweet actually. Somebody put that GIF file of the person walking along with like fire at the trousers, saying Giroud enters the pitch like this. It's just on fire. But I mean, fair play to the guy. I mean, he's had this toe injury, in inverted commas, and he's come back strong from it. He made a point today, didn't he? 2 really good goals at a time when we needed it most, because he changed that game for 10 minutes.
Yeah, he really did, and it was really nice, because I think Sunderland had started to sort of sit back a little deeper and try to defend. They had played a sort of a higher line up until that point. They were starting to just sort of bed in a little bit more in our attacking third and just sort of sit back. So it was good to have him in there. The supposed toe injury is something that I'm happy that it's given him time to rest and be fresh for the pretty much the rest of the season now, coming in and starting pretty much, with the last game in October. Really, really, really good to have some fresh legs coming on, and the quality that he has. After the game, at halftime over the U.S., Robbie Mustoe actually was complimenting Sanchez and says Sanchez can do everything Giroud can do, Sanchez can do. And I thought, well, not quite. Sanchez is decent at holding up the ball, but not as good as Giroud. Obviously, they each have their strengths, but I think the physicality that Giroud brings is something that's really, really good. And you saw that with the goal, and just the way he's able to sort of control his body in those tight positions, be able to sort of wrap his foot around it, because I think we've seen other players try that shot before, and they've just sort of skied it, or it's fizzled past with no real no real pace on it. So it was really good to see him come in and finish it. And it's nice that we finally have the luxury to bring somebody like that on in a match that's cagey like this, and be able to nick the points away with a player of his quality coming on. And obviously, I'm a huge fan. I think everybody's pants are on fire when they see Olivier Giroud. He's a good-looking guy. It's hard to deny. But yeah, not to get too far ahead, but the second goal as well, just the pinpoint precision header with, it wasn't the paciest header at all, but it was just pinpoint placement where even the keeper still got a couple of fingers on it and still couldn't keep it out. So it was it's really good to see the fact that whether it's Giroud or Sanchez or whoever, we have options to play different ways up front, and we can beat teams by attacking in different ways, which is honestly like the first time that since I've been supporting Arsenal that we've had that, being a somewhat newer follower. So it's super refreshing to see, and we got to give credit to Wenger for being able to I don't know if he held him back or whatever, but to bring him on, and I think it's given him some hunger. Because even somebody who's as big a fan as Giroud, I've said he doesn't deserve to start right now with Sanchez's form up top. But he's definitely going to start making a case for himself if he keeps playing like this.
That's what you want from squad depth, isn't it? Options from the bench to switch things around. I should just give a tip of the hat to Mr. Hollick, to Ellis, and to Dom, who's in the chat room here. Dom's just put, where is Welsh? We were promised mediocrity, damn it. Unfortunately, Dom, John's beard was so shit he didn't want to put it on live TV today. So that's the reason. He's ill. Unfortunately, I'm afraid, Dom. He's lost his voice. No, I'm not going to comment on what he's been doing with his mouth, but it's probably got something to do with Essex. So leaving that behind quickly. Jace, yes, Davies, the squad depth, and we've talked about this a number of times on podcasts, on these shows. Jace has touched on it there. But a couple of players come into the lineup. I mean, and El Nene played last week, in fairness, but he retained his place today. Kieran Gibbs stayed in the side, and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain stayed in the side. All three of them, I thought, were very good. El Nene, very quietly, I thought was really good today. I know the partnership with Coquelin is maybe not the ideal, sort of combination, but as a player, I think he's very, very nicely settled into that lineup when he comes in and is needed. So, do you think it's obviously a good performance? But do you think it's a good thing knowing that we've got players like that could just seamlessly slot in today and win, albeit against a poor side?
I think it's great, to be fair. If let's go to Gibbs first. Does anybody remember why he lost his place? No, I don't think they do. I think they've all kind of forgotten it. His fragility defensively was quite terrible at one point, but he's coming back. He's looking a bit more settled. He's looking a bit more mature. We're going to need him. It's a long season. We're not going to be able to just rely on Nacho. The Ox. Okay, he let himself down a couple of times in front of goal. I think he slipped on one occasion, bit unlucky, and he needed to test the keeper a couple of times. But the cross for Sanchez's opener, was phenomenal. It was great. It was it's what he needs to be doing. As for in the middle of the park, everybody talks about Coquelin. I think he's very effective when he holds. Other than that, he doesn't get in WBA's side, to be honest with you. He just does not. As an up and down midfielder, forget about it. He's not good enough. Okay, it's a simple fact. And then on the other hand, he does what he says on the tin. He's a link man. He's got a great engine. He's up, he's down. He'll do a job for you. He's not going to be spectacular. He'll get the odd great goal off. He'll get the odd great shot off. But, you look at it, it's all short passing. It's all being the link from defence up to the attack. And he's very, very effective in that way. As Dom has alluded to in the past, it's all about partnerships. And the bottom line is, I think we're lucky we've had Middlesbrough. I know we drew it wasn't great, and Sunderland today with that pair in the middle, because they just don't work together. We saw Coquelin in front of goal. He hasn't got the first touch. He's not got the range of passing that a Xhaka gives you. He's not got the timing of the run or the confidence in front of goal that a Ramsey gives you. He doesn't have the passing ability of Santi Cazorla. He works well with Santi. Him and El Nene, no. And I think El Nene could do a job with others. But Coquelin today, Harvard James says, Cock is a tackler, breaks up play. He didn't do that today. He didn't do it. That is what he is. He's somebody. He's very good at intercepting the ball. He's very good at being a holder, but he's not playing it. So it's pointless having him in there. It's genuinely pointless. I'd rather see Ox and Coughlin, or Ox and LNA in the middle, because I think that gives you a bit more. But no, LNA, he's neat, he's tidy, and he'll do a job. But as far as Coughlin further up the park, it doesn't work for me. It just doesn't work for me.
I'm not even going to go into Santi Cazorla because I know it'll upset you. But
no. But I'm saying the comeback here is he wins the ball in their half, which is what we need. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He doesn't do it. He didn't do it against Borough. He doesn't do it today. He doesn't do it. Forget it. Okay. And Santi, yeah, I think we are missing him in these games. It's one of those things where if you're going to he does, him and Coughlin together do give you something, but they've got that partnership lined up, and it would be nice when he comes back. We need all the options. We need all the options we can get.
Yes, it is I think somebody tweeted in the week, and I agree with it. It said it's almost a bit worrying how much or how dependent we are on Santi when he's not there, just because of what he provides.
But bear with me a second. It's not just Santi who's not there. Xhaka's not there either. He's on a 3-game ban.
Yeah, great point. Yeah,
if he hasn't got if he's not, without Xhaka as well, that's another top quality player out. You don't have Ramsey fit. Ramsey came on for a cameo today to get himself up to fitness levels. He's going to need more game time. I'm a big Ramsey fan. I'm a big Xhaka fan. For the North London derby, I would be going Xhaka, and I'd be going Cazorla, because Coughlin will do a great job coming from the bench. But I just think the passing range of those two gives you so much.
I would go with. We'll probably touch on North London derby at the end of the show, but I would probably be more inclined to go Coughlin and Cazorla just because it's tried and tested, but only if Santi's fit, as you say. If Santi's not fit, then maybe Xhaka comes back in. Although Xhaka in a North London derby, crikey, hold on to your hats. Jace, you wanted to make a point, and it was definitely something I had on my agenda today. We've won 4-1. Okay, we didn't keep a clean sheet. Petr Cech almost doing what he did against Hull, I think it was, wasn't it, for their goal, for their penalty. But centre-backs, again, were good, I thought, today. Koscielny just continues to get even more and more steady as the weeks go on, and Mustafi he's equally adept at bringing the ball out of defence. I've noticed that as much as he is defending himself, but they won a lot in the air, which is something we've been criticised for in the past. So you wanted to make a quick point on that, on the back four pairings.
Yeah, no, it's I sort of brushed over it earlier, sort of just talking about the game overall, and I remember one of my very first Arsenal games that I watched. Our starting center back pairing was Johan Giroud and Sebastian Squillaci.
Those were the days.
And my, have we come a long way. So yeah, it's like I said, it's really refreshing to know that if it's whether it's a last ditch tackle, and it shows when Cech gave up the penalty today, he was actually trying to pull away from the ball to leave Koscielny, who was actually gaining a step to be able to poke the ball away, I think, and try to make a tackle. And it shows that's the kind of confidence that even in the box, the keeper is sort of trying to let his defenders do what he knows that they can do. And it's good to have that kind of confidence in them. I do really, really enjoy watching Mustafi play. I mean, obviously, we all know Koscielny. Koscielny's probably one of the most underrated defenders in the world right now. But Mustafi is somebody who's come in and has looked like he's played with Koscielny his entire career. Again, center backs is like midfield partners. It's a partnership. It's rapport with one another, and they've come in and not missed a beat together. And one of the surprising things that I just kept noticing throughout the day, whether it was, I think Koscielny maybe picking up a couple of tricks from Mustafi, but our distribution from the back through the midfield and bypassing them to our attacking players today was something that I've not seen our defenders do ever. So it was really refreshing to see, whether it was a ball over the top from Mustafi that I think Iwobi actually was able to get onto, and then it got cleared, and then there was a couple of passes on the ground. up to Sanchez, who was already on their back four. And it really shows that when teams play a high line against us, we can be more direct because we have players with that technical ability in the the center part of the defense who can play that ball either over the top or on the ground and find the attackers running into space, which is it just adds another layer for our offense and another layer for our team to be able to attack you, and something else you have to worry about on the training pitch in the days leading up to it. So it's really, really refreshing to see not only just the defensive sort of capabilities that we have now, but the fact that we can pair that with good technique and good attacking prowess from those two players and really cause teams trouble from front to back.
When was the last time you could say I'd rather have Arsenal's defence than any of the other top four? That'd be the question I'd ask you. Yeah, because when I say top four, I don't include that mob from across the way because they are not inclusive of anything complimentary in my life ever. And anyone else that tells me that old and we're old, or whatever the fuck his name is, and Vertonghen is the best centre back partnership in Europe can go and jump off a bridge. I'm not acknowledging it, and it doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. Moving on.
Can I just come in on there? I hear a lot of people say Koscielny's underrated. I don't think that's true at all. I think anybody who knows football knows he's a quality centre half. He is.
Yeah, but Jace, he doesn't ever get mentioned with the companies and the PKs who in my opinion aren't nearly as good technically.
By who?
Oh, pundits on ESPN FC. There's a lot of people
ESPN, bro. That's ESPN.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that I hear that from.
If anybody,
I know how good he is.
Yeah, but this is the thing, I mean, we sometimes come across as a victim fan base. I don't give a fuck what anybody else is saying about Laurent Koscielny. He's a great player. He is going to drop you in it on occasion. But he's fantastic. If other people want to underrate him, that's their fucking problem. You look at Mustafi today. Mustafi's distribution, as you said, at times was great. But these two, they're doing a good job. We're just 2 points behind City, two goals rather, on the same point as City in the league. We're trending along nicely, and they are going to get better. They are going to develop that partnership, and it's going to be great. I'm thrilled with the both of them. I really do. But when people talk about underrating Koscielny, then they're imbeciles. They really are. They really are imbeciles. We've got a decent back four. We've got a couple of options. I don't care. I'd rather people not be talking about them. I would rather us go about our business quietly, go under the radar, and perform week in, week out.
That is a very good point. I'm quite happy for it to stay underrated before the likes of Barcelona come sniffing. But I think there's a point on both sides. I understand what Shredder's saying, and I also agree, Jace. Sometimes we do have fans that are maybe crave a little bit more than. We're a little bit like, but we're always the victims. Sometimes.
Yeah. Look,
no. I don't want it to come off as that.
It's like the Ballon d'Or business earlier on this week. Why isn't Ozil there? Why isn't Sanchez? I couldn't give a fuck. I couldn't give a fuck why they're not there.
Yeah.
It's a pointless fucking trophy where in 2004 when Henry should have won it, he doesn't get to win it because obviously it's got to be a Barca player. It's got to be. It's fucking pointless. Let's stick to going about our business and challenging for a league title. That's the only thing I care about is the league title and the Champions League. And
agreed.
I wouldn't mind the FA Cup as well.
But we all care that Daniel is in the chat box. Hello, Danny. How are you? He decided to roll out of bed at 5:05 in the afternoon. What a lazy.
Very good of him.
Good.
Very good.
Honestly, this is what we have to work with, people. Seriously, it's not good.
Hold up, where were you last Saturday? And where were you last Tuesday?
Oh, I've thrown myself into that one, haven't I? Thrown myself into that one.
I tell you what, mate. Superb.
Pass me the shovel, I'll dig myself in. Anyway.
Dave Faber's there as well. And Lord Hillwood.
Yeah, they're all out.
The boys are out.
They are. 5 would be here, but he's probably pissed somewhere. So that's I tell you, sidebar. I love waking up on the Saturday morning after 5's been out on the beer. It makes me, it amuses me every weekend. I look up and I go, there's 5 typing some random bollocks.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He's a star.
I live vicariously through the 5.
He's a wonderful
We
man.
all do. And he's a top class host. Top class host. I'll tell you the bit he did on the pod this week about the AGM. He's just fantastic. I can listen to the man all day, but he's a little bit of a hedonist. I haven't
listened to the pod yet this week. I'm still catching up. I will get there. I'm pretty sure that he throws a couple of us under the bus. So I'm looking forward to that.
He had you and Steve beautifully.
Oh, did he? Revenge is a dish best served cold as I prepare to host next Thursday, Mr. Fife. Remember that. Anyway, let's move on then. Just want to touch very briefly on the opposition because we have come out with a 4-1 victory, and that's lovely. And I'm not going to really find any negatives at all, apart from a certain Mr. Atkinson's performance. But we mentioned that already. But Mr. Shredder, should we be looking at this as a sign that Arsenal kind of have turned the corner in these games where we go, ooh, not sure about that game, or should we look at it and go, Sunderland were bloody abysmal?
I don't want to get too excited, but I also Sunderland weren't great. I mean, they're a team that's in the bottom half for a reason there, and we did what we should against them. I don't ever want to get too excited in October because we've seen where we've been top of the league before in October in the last few years, and it's not come off for us. So I think what we need to do is it's so cliche, but we shouldn't really focus. Let's not focus on the table. Let's not focus on, what the standard. Let's just take one opponent at a time and really just sort of hone in and make sure that we're playing the best football week in and week out. And things will, if you do that, things will take care of themselves. So I'm not overly. It's a great win. I love obviously anytime we win. I'm not prepared to say that City are going to be champions. It's freaking October. Let's be real. There's a lot of football left to be played here still. And we're going to have a lot of swings. We're going to have a lot of ups and we're going to have a lot of downs. So let's just see how we come through them. But the one thing I will say is I do feel like this team is a little more mentally prepared and capable of handling the low times, based off of previous results where teams have sort of made it close. We've been able to hang on where I think in the past we haven't. So that in-game sort of mental strength that Wenger always talks about is good to see. The fact that we're still able to just when you think we're going off the cliff, we're able to pull ourselves back up and keep on going and take full points instead of just settling for a draw or being in a position to draw and then dropping 3 points. So I think that's promising, but still a lot of football to play. So I'm not necessarily prepared to say that we're going on to lift the trophy. I'm also don't want to give Sunderland too much credit because they were pretty terrible for most of the game today.
Yeah, agreed. Jace, just we should also just briefly touch on the performances of other teams around us. Like Mr. Shredder says, we've got to look after our own back garden rather than looking over the fence at others too much. But you can't fail to notice that Man United are fucking terrible. I'm sorry, couldn't help it. And also, obviously, Manchester City getting a victory today, a comfortable victory, as you said yourself, pre-record against a West Brom side that probably knew that they were going to get beat. Liverpool playing at the moment, Spurs dropping points at home. These are the games we have to win like we have today, aren't they? When other teams are maybe not performing as they should be.
Yeah, let's get something straight. Funny enough, I think what Shred said just now with regard to mentally prepared, I think it's been a development, and I think there's a hangover from last season where these guys are looking at themselves thinking, shh, hit the bed, we should have won this. We should have won this title. And I think they are, they've learned a lesson. Whereas, you can imagine being a footballer, even though they live in this kind of wrapped up, cozy world at times where there's masses of money coming their way and so forth. You know, that will have hurt them. Funny enough, we were talking after the game, and Steve, Lord Hillwood, mentioned that we were talking about Sunderland, and I said, Duncan Watmore, the only shining light in a sea of shite. In regards to Sunderland, because they were fucking awful. They were awful. And at least he gives you a bit of go forward. At least he'll carry the ball. He'll play with a bit of attack. Pardon me, 1 second. Sorry about that. And he said, his dad's a lifelong Arsenal fan. And I had a quick look at his account, and some of the stick he was getting from people regarding his son was quite, uncalled for. It was uncalled for. So, these guys, they do see both sides of it, even though they're wrapped up in cotton wool a lot of the time. I think we've developed the mental strength side of it, as Bob Lex is saying there, the mental strength Claxon, and we're ready to face our troubles. Poor result last week. We've come away at 1-1. It could have been a different story. It really could have been. I had a quick look on Twitter after the penalty went in, and there were people losing their shit.
It's so funny, isn't it? Every time. They never learn, do they? Every week.
The only thing that I was in the pub watching it. I was watching it with a friend. I haven't seen her for a while, and that's all she heard was "fuck tards." Okay, what is wrong with people? We can disagree all you want, but to lose your shit when there's half an hour or to go, it's ridiculous. And we're only drawing. But no, we look at results around us at the moment, and WBA, there's been underlying problems since the takeover there. You saw them last season when they beat us, and what have you. Pulis can manage a team. However much we like to have a pop at him, when he managed Palace, they played some great football. That game against Liverpool is still one of the funniest things I've ever seen, where they deservedly beat them. This is a tough old league. Anybody can be beaten on their day. Anybody. And, we can't worry about the scum down the road. We can't worry about the scum from Merseyside. We can't worry about the scums in Manchester. We've got to just concentrate. 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. We have big games coming up with the NLD, and we have United. If we take 6 points from those, then we'll be in a good position. But I always think we can challenge the title. I think it in August. I'll think it in December. If we're 12 points down, I'll always think we can. But there seems to be a bit of self-belief at the moment with us as well, where we're going about our business and we're getting the job done. Nobody's getting excited. This seems to be a little bit of competition for places. Let's hope we can carry it through.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm like Jason, the same as you. I always feel optimistic no matter what.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way to feel. People might not always agree, but that's how I see it.
But let's be honest. You and I, we for as much as we take the piss out of, oh my God, I've agreed with the pirate again, and so forth. We agree on far more than we actually disagree on. Do you know what I mean? And it's just this side of things of, I genuinely felt at the end of last season, time for Arsene Wenger to go. I genuinely felt that. And thankfully, I don't feel that way at the moment. I think we're doing a good job. I think he's doing a good job. I think, we're in a place where, we're building. Yes, there are, players are going to have bad days. Yes, there are going to be days where we underperform as a team. But, we're a third of the way through the season now. A third of the way through. And we're doing okay. We're really doing okay.
Yep.
Time flies. Time flies, doesn't it? Time flies.
It does.
Mr. Shredder, with regards to just sort of looking ahead at Jace touched it there, the next 3 fixtures are kind of going to be pretty important. I think not crucial, but they're going to go quite a long way to proving what we are, I guess, this season. We got Ludogorets in the Champions League, of course, but I'm more specifically looking at the North London Derby, followed by Manchester United, followed by PSG at home. Within the space of 10 days, we could be qualified in the Champions League. We could have the bragging rights, and we could put Mourinho under even more pressure. Now, if I said to you now you can have 2 wins and a draw out of that, would you take it? Would you take 3 draws? Liverpool just scored, by the way. Or would you? How do you look at those big 3 fixtures? Because they're all in November, and we all know in November we'll have a squad of 5 players by then.
Yeah, but our bogey month of November, I would take two wins and a draw. It's just Spurs is always difficult, no matter how each team is doing. It's always difficult. And so you take you want a win. You're desperate for a win, but I think you take a draw in the long term, like the big picture. I do really feel that we have to beat. We actually have to beat Man United away. Imagine if we beat Man United, and that's the last nail in the coffin for our boy Jose. I mean, it's at Old Trafford. If we just go in there and run riot over him, what legs does he have to stand on anymore? The only bragging right he still has is the fact that Wenger's never beaten him in the league. That's the only bragging right he still has. He can't talk about how he's this big special one that comes in and changes the culture. He changes the culture of the club. He takes the entire soul out of it to where nobody wants to function underneath him. So yeah, I think that game really is big. I think obviously I think we'll get the result at Ludogorets, and then I think PSG. I think that's going to be the one that's going to be telling as well for how we can mentally push on, and I think that'll be a big turning point to see if we can go ahead and beat them to lock up the group. Hopefully they'll drop some points to Basel, and we can go ahead and lock it up and sit at number 1, and maybe rotate a couple of players in that last match against Basel. So it's crucial. I really would love 12 points out of those 4 games. But the big 3, the Spurs, United, and PSG, I would happily take 2 wins and a draw.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I'm really torn because I would love to beat Palace at level. That's quite funny. I would love to see us beat, obviously, that lot, first of all. The people saying they could go unbeaten. I mean, who are these clowns? Seriously, who are these people? They're allowed out without helpers, these people that say this shit, honestly. But yeah, the thought of beating Mourinho, I must admit, does seem quite tasty. But yeah, it's a big month. It's a big month coming up. Just before we take some listener questions, just want to sort of open the floor a little bit, just to give you both an opportunity to talk about anything else that you've noticed in the game, or anything else you want to bring up from today's game. Jace, anything else that caught your eye, or anything else you want to bring up?
Martin Atkinson's just a he's a fucking cunt, isn't he? Let's be honest, Shredder. You've got this guy. We suffered the red card with Xhaka against Swansea. No attempt to go for the ball. Pienaar does exactly the same thing. It's okay, Steve. You crack on, son. Fucking fine. And then later on, another challenge, deserved yellow card. It should have been a red. But it seemed as though he referees 2 sides differently, and that really pissed me off. It spoils my enjoyment of the game. And I don't mind if referees make a mistake. They're human. That's fine. That's all I'm looking for is consistency. I just want a bit of consistency. In the last couple of weeks, we've had Atkinson and that cunt John Moss. Oh my God, are the FA just lining them up for us?
I actually heard the other day on Talk Sport when John Moss was in a game, and the commentator even goes, "Well, I guess that's a foul, but what is and what isn't with John Moss
Yeah, exactly. And
when the commentators are saying something like that, who
uh,
are probably told to be somewhat unbiased towards the refereeing and probably try not to mention it as much, blah, blah. I mean, that's a huge indictment.
it's terrible, isn't it? It's terrible. And, you know, it can ruin this. It can ruin the game. It can ruin the season. I do not want to see players sent off. I don't want to see opposition play unless it's a twat in white from the lane. I don't want to see players sent off. You know, I mean, you want to watch a good game of football, okay? You know, but it comes to the point where week in, week out, it's, you know, we've got a guy on a 3-match ban. I'm really annoyed with Arsene Wenger that he didn't appeal that 3-match ban. I think you know, people talk about, oh, maybe we're saving a brownie points for the next appeal or anything. That's bullshit. They look by a case-by-case basis. We've dropped the ball. We should have appealed it. Okay? It wasn't violent. Yes, it was a yellow card all day long. But so is what Pina did today. You know, so is what Pina did today. And it's just an annoyance to me. Other than that, I'm pretty pleased. I just think, you know, the penalty in days gone by where, you know, people have said this, you know, we could have lost 2-1 or so forth. You know, we stuck at it and we played some lovely stuff at times. If only we weren't so wasteful in front of goal. And that's the only disappointment I had, because I thought our first half performance was excellent.
Yeah, you can always improve on things. That's the way you got to look at it. You know, it's not criticising to say you can improve. So
absolutely, and the big thing is, you oh, there you go. Tani said, "I said that, you Welsh shitbag." Yeah, yes, you did, Danny, and you're fucking wrong. Okay. I love that man. I love that man. But again, you know, the really good thing is that we're actually making the chances. Mm-hmm. That's the good thing. So you know, as long as we're winning games, as long as the 3 points keep on rolling in, you know, we'll be okay.
Yeah.
Daniel, you no need to get back in line, son. You're still wonderful.
Mr. Shredder, any final thoughts from you before we list the questions? By the way, if you've got any questions, if you pop them in the box now, Jace will do their very best to pick out the best of them for you. So, Mr. Shredder, any sort of things you want to bring up? Any final thoughts on the game today?
I think, you know, we've brushed over before earlier, but just Sanchez and just the work that he did today, just absolutely spectacular. Probably one of his best performances in an Arsenal shirt from front to back. He was, I mean, the ball that he played to Ozil, that Ozil missed that shot on, was an unreal ball. And you know, the ball that he also played to Coquelin was great. Just he's dropping back to receive the ball. He was creating, he was scoring, he was harassing defenders. He had that little cheeky tackle. I forgot exactly who it was on. I think right before it led to the pass to Coquelin. It was just he really did it all, and it's good to see somebody with like that passion and that hunger and that drive. And I would love to. I want to see where his heat map is, because the entire field is probably red, because it's just one of those great performances. And then the other thing I do want to say is just that I think you know, Gibbs coming in and putting in a strong performance needs another mention, because I think he was pretty good today for a guy who hasn't started and played a whole lot of first team football over the last little while. And good to see him come in and really, he wasn't spectacular, but he was good and he was solid, and that's what we really want.
He wasn't tested much though, was he? You know, it's not as if you know.
Oh, but he was still pretty good going forward as well. That's
you expect that from him. I mean, you expect that from him. He's very good in that.
I think we've seen some times in the past where he hasn't been as sharp with it. He's had the game time and hasn't been as sharp. So I think for somebody who hasn't had the game time, I think he wasn't tested as much as we've obviously seen Nacho tested recently. But still very, very happy to see him getting in there, and had a couple of really well-timed challenges. So good to see. I'm a big Gibbs fan, although Nacho does deserve to be the starter. But Gibbs, good to see him coming in and.
It'd be lovely if he got his confidence in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the kind of performance you need to build confidence. That's exactly what it is, and hopefully he can kick on for us.
Yeah, and I think Ollie Giroud's a big shout as well. To come back from injury, first Premier League game back, 2 goals.
Yeah, totally agree with that.
And great finishes as well. I mean, I thought you bang on with Sanchez. I thought he was wonderful today. But it was a really positive day all round at the end of it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The longer Sanchez plays through the middle and the more games he gets through the middle, the more he reminds me of what Suarez was for Liverpool before he left. Seems to be, it's not just the ability on the ball, but he strikes me as a sort of player that when he's on it, he can drag the team with him. And when he's not, okay, granted he has his flaws and he gives the ball away at times and that, but sometimes you just have to accept that. The same reason that Southampton fans idolise Matt Le Tissier. You never see Matt Le Tissier racing back over the halfway line to get a ball back off somebody, would you? But he'd always win a game for them, and it's the same with Alexis with us and Mesut with us at times. They're not always going to be perfect, but the things they do in games. I wouldn't be without either of them. So
I don't need you to be perfect all the time. I need you to be perfect 1 or 2 times.
Exactly. And when we are perfect, take the chances, score the goals, and win the games. Not asking too much, are we? Let's have a look at some of these questions.
I've got one. I've got the first one. I've got
Was
the
it
first.
Josh's?
It is Josh's.
Yeah. What should I have for lunch? Josh, pizza. I'm going to go with pizza. Anybody want to add to that? I think pizza's a good option. You can order it in. It's done. It's not expensive. Pizza. Do it now.
Josh, just go to the boozer, okay? 10 pints of Red Banger Lager. Start your Saturday the right way. Don't mess about. Go for it.
And then watch Match of the Day in a hazy state.
Josh, I'm going to go say have some Thai food.
Thai. Controversial.
A nice yellow curry sounds really good right now. That's what I really want to have for lunch. That's why I'm telling him to.
It's quite tempting, actually. Somebody else wanted to know, Jace, if there are such things as Tottenham fans in the US of A. I don't believe there are there?
There are. Typically, the funny part about it is a lot of the Tottenham fans are Tottenham fans because they knew that they didn't want a team that won a lot. Specifically. And they're sort of like the hipster counterculture choice because they're sort of not great. So that's why a lot of fans, a lot of the hipster Americans love a good underdog, quote unquote. But I think they really they love to wallow in self-misery, and so that's why they've chosen Spurs. So there are though, and I know a couple personally. Have a few people who I call acquaintances that are Spurs fans. I actually I have a new coworker who is from Infield, and so we have a bit of banter back and forth from time to time now. So yes, there are Spurs fans here, but they don't come out in droves. That's for sure.
No,
I think they had like 30 people show up at the last North London derby, and the Gooners in my area are now into 2 bars, and we'll probably get close to 150 to 200 in my area between the 2 bars. So
I like what Steve just put in the chat there. Love it. We'll actually finish on a question.
She specifically.
There's a couple here. There's a couple of good ones here.
Just picked up Norma's tweet is a good one about Iwobi.
Yeah, before that one, Danny Lee Trundle, he may be 16 goals, but he's 16 stone as well.
And the rest.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, he's got quality feet.
He's a big lad.
Yeah, but he never had pace or anything, but his feet are amazing. If you could put some work in his fitness, he'd have played at a lot higher level. Poor bugger.
Sure,
there's one from Arbel. Do we rest players against Ludogorets?
Yeah, see, that's a really tough one, that, isn't it? Because you want to get the result, and you know that they'll have learned. Well, you don't know, but you'd imagine they'd have learned from their experience coming to the Emirates last week. So you'd think they'll probably set up a little bit differently. And in that atmosphere, you've got the travel, because this is the other thing as well. You've got to look ahead to the North London derby, and you've got to think of the travel. Okay, it's Bulgaria. It's not, it's not a travel across the world, but it's still the air miles, etc. It's still the lack of preparation time. I think I probably would. I think I probably would. I think Giroud will start and should start. I mean, who else would you come in? I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? Who do you? Yeah, but Jenkinson maybe.
Let's be fair, okay? They were decent against us.
They were, yeah.
Okay, they played some lovely football. We can't afford to take them lightly because that 6-0 it flattered us. Okay,
it did.
We finished really well. We will take the 6-0 all day long, but is there a chance to get Ollie Giroud some minutes under his belt, to get Aaron Ramsey back to speed? You're going to have Xhaka available for
good point.
for the North London derby. We need to get him playing, because if we go into that North London derby with El Nene and Coughlin, we're going to lose. I'm sorry, they're not good enough. End of story. You give your players the minutes they need. Would I would rest Sanchez. I would rest Ozil. I don't think there's any need for him to start. It will be. I would try probably Chamber on the left hand side.
Yeah.
I'd mix it up a little bit, but still put out that strong team and still have that strong bench that we can count on.
That's the bonus of the squad we've got now, isn't it? That we can have players that can come in. I agree. I mean, you forget today, no Monreal, no Walcott, no Santi Cazorla, to name but three, that will all come back in. And Xhaka, of course. I think I'd be tempted to give Santi 20, 25 minutes at the end in that game as well, to see if he's ready
if he's fit, definitely. We're looking for his fitness here. We've Walcott missed the game today. What was wrong with Walcott today?
He had a slight tight hamstring. I think he was rested personally. I think Arsene knows how important he is for the North London derby. So I think he could have played had he have been needed. Right. But and fair play, Ox was good in midweek, so it was as good a time as any to keep him out.
Yeah, it's one of those. I mean, I'd probably give Holding minutes. I'd give Holding minutes.
Gabriel, I suppose you got.
Well, I'm not sure about Gab.
Seniority.
You've got to balance that. Do you go Gibbs? Do you go Nacho? What sort of pace have Tottenham got on the right hand side at the moment? I'm not sure.
2-2.
Is it?
Yeah. Two-headed goals and two appalling piece of goalkeeping.
Oh, God. Is Mignolet back, or is it the other fella?
No, it's Karius. The first one was Almunia-esque. When you see it, you wait and see. The second one, he just doesn't move.
Do you know what? Okay, I do love watching those shit bags having terrible goalkeepers. It's
great fun, isn't it?
It makes me so happy. And they let Reina go.
I know. And the second one, it's a good cross, actually, from Zaha, but the keeper just doesn't move. It's just like, he just doesn't move. And it's the same lad who's got both now, McCarthy, both goals.
I tell you what, a real Josh Daw, not the fake Josh Daw, as Dan would say, has just said, I see a lot of Alexis in the Ox. Do you see him having a future playing number 9? It's been said he'd like to play centrally.
Not as a 9. Not in a million years for me. Centrally, I could see it midfield, but he's got to have... His discipline has got to improve. His confidence has got to improve. The end product's got to improve on a consistent basis. As a number 9, though, I don't. If you see what Theo did when he was through the middle, you could see why he wanted to play as a striker. Ox, for me, doesn't have that in his game, I don't think.
Jay?
No, his best patch of form has been on the wings or centrally in midfield. So not as a number 9. I like him though. I think he, and it's tough for a player to accept this role, but I think he's the perfect kind of player for us to come off the bench like he has previously and give us that spark and get the spot start every now and then. But I don't necessarily think there is it's tough for him to get into the starting lineup. I think even when he's in form, I still think there are players that are better than him. But he's a great option off the bench and a great squad player for us.
Right, and Norma Ott has just hit the nail on the head. He's got to keep his head up. He's got to play heads up football. All this nonsense of head down, go to the byline, fuck it up has got to stop. If he's not got the vision to understand what's happening around him, he's never going to play in central midfield, let alone anywhere else. Christopher Iwanda. Loads of castles to visit. There is Pembrokeshire for the beaches. There is the Gower. There's loads of good boozers. Valley Girls are excellent company. Excellent company.
Allegedly.
They will drink you under the table. They'll have a laugh. All very good sense of humour.
They'll do other things under the table as well, I think.
Leave it. I'm trying to... They're excellent, okay? And there he goes again. Wallace is at it again. Wallace is at it again. Oh, sorry. Was it Gromit? I can't remember which one. I'm leaving it there. Sit down, Stevie. Sit down.
Did you see the one from USA Guna that Jason's put there? It's brilliant. What was your favourite genitalia named player from today's game? Ndong, Pinar, or Cock? Or was it that cunt Atkinson? That's very good.
Cunt Atkinson.
Yeah, it's very good.
I'm not being funny. He's a hot.
By the way, can I
go on?
Can I make a? I just really want to see Cockshaka in midfield.
Cockshaka,
against the
yeah.
Regrets. Cockshaka.
Yeah,
that's
there.
my midfield pairing of the year.
Oh.
Writes itself, doesn't it? Writes itself.
I dread to think.
I want to finish on Noma's question from earlier.
Sorry. Before we go there, Kris, I know you're a big fan of Edison Cavani, and you think that Ibrahimovic is awful, but did you see Ibra's miss from today? You can never ever take the piss out of Cavani ever again. Oh, you cannot.
It was Cavani-esque Zlatan's miss today, wasn't it? Yeah.
But there's loads of them. There's loads of them at the moment.
He's not having a good time. It would be fair to say. I don't. Liverpool. Oh, off the post. Good. I don't subscribe to the idea that he's finished. I have to say. But I think if you look at that United team, there's very few players performing anywhere near their optimum level. So I think he'll be all right. But yeah, Big Edinson, got a winner for PSG last night. I think it was from roughly 7 yards. So, it's usually the sort of distance he misses from. So God bless him. He ran off celebrating like he won the World Cup, which was nice. So good for him. Lovely hair, by the way. But yeah.
20 goals every season.
Yeah, and we all know how crap Liga is, don't we, Jace? Let's not go there. Let's finish with his question then, because it was a good one. North London Derby then next weekend. She wanted to know, would you drop Iwobi? I'll give you both an answer on this because it's a good question. Mr. Shredder, would you?
Yes, I would. I would put Sanchez on the left and Giroud up top because Giroud has proven he knows how to play in these big games against that lot.
Good answer. Jace?
And we need to have cover for whoever's on the left down there.
I'm really not sure. I genuinely, I would like to see. I disagree with Jason starting with Giroud. I think Giroud off the bench gives us plan B. I would like to see what maybe Chambers could do on the left or Walcott could do on the left and mix and match. He could go Walcott left, Rambo right if Rambo proves his fitness and sharpness. But on today's on today's cameo, we don't know anything about Ramsey at the moment. He didn't. There wasn't enough time, and the game had sort of disintegrated at that point. So you're not getting a true reflection of where he's at. I thought Iwobi was poor today. I thought he was poor. So yes, I would drop him, but who for? And what are you going to play? I still think that if you run those two centre halves, Alderweireld and who's the other twat there?
Vertonghen.
Yeah, that's the other twat. I think Sanchez running at them would cause them real issues. He kind of knows where to go. He pulls back and forth. He's all over. And if he sits on their shoulder at any given point, then they know they're in trouble, because a good ball played in behind them, and his head's up when they're. I do worry about their wing, their left and right back. They've got bags of pace. They are a pair of cunts, but
the dog fucker and the fat boy.
Danny Rose, fucking hell. He's Broadway Danny Rose, and he's such an cunt. But so you know, we do need more defensive cover on that left hand side. I'll tell you what wouldn't be a bad shout, and this is me personally, just, you know, because I like him. Sorry, my phone's going off. Some cunt's phoning me.
They say hi, by the way.
They can go fuck themselves. Don't they know I'm busy?
Apparently not.
I would maybe play Nacho.
They're just calling to see when you're going to collect. That's all the cunts want. They just want to know when you're going to collect, Jay.
I bet you. I'll phone him back. And it's PPI? Twats. I wouldn't mind seeing, if Rambo doesn't prove his sharpness and fitness for the right and on the left, or he does drop where it will be, I wouldn't mind seeing Gibbs play on the left-hand wing and seeing Nacho at the back. It gives you solidity. Also, going forward, you have Nacho's interplay, you have Gibbs' pace, and remember what he did last season in North London Derby?
True. Yeah, that goal that he got the equaliser at the Emirates, wasn't it? Yeah.
Favour.
Those valley goes.
She's not happy.
And I'll just chuck my 2 pence in. I'd keep it exactly as it is. Wouldn't change a thing, personally.
It's strange, wasn't it? It's really bizarre. I mean, how did you feel Iwobi played today, Chris?
I thought he was all right in patches, but I wasn't surprised when it was his number that went off when he came off. The thing I really like about him is he's got that bit of unpredictability about him. He's got that ability to do something that you can't always plan for. So I like that in him. The work rate is there, but I don't think he knows positionally where to be going backwards defensively. That is a worry. But no, I like his unpredictability, and he seems to be quite passionate when he plays, and that sort of comes through when he is on the pitch. So I don't know. I wonder if Ox or Walcott might be given the nod ahead of him, as in both of those two playing in the same side. I wonder. I
get what you're saying about his feet. Okay, his feet is fantastic. But you're looking at his movement today. You know, he's not a natural mover. I don't know if you agree or disagree. He's got a little bit of a waddle about him.
He has, yeah. He likes to slow the ball down and go again, doesn't he? He doesn't like to do things at speed. He likes to slow it down, roll the foot over it, and then beat somebody and go again, doesn't he? He's not really a lightning speed type of player. But he is quick. He's a rangy player. But no cat for you. But no, I just think that at the moment, you know, the thing is as well, you hit the nail on the head, Jace, when you said young players, you know, they're not going to be 10 out of 10 every week. You can have some weeks where they're 5 out of 10, some weeks they're 8 out of 10, some weeks they're just a 7, and you go, yeah, that's fine. So I'm all right with it. You know, there's the tweet he did the other day, wasn't there, saying a year ago to the day he made his debut in a 4-0 defeat at Sheffield Wednesday. Look where he's come.
Yeah, but Danny mentioned something there. Iwobi needs some time on the bench. Blah, blah, blah. I think he could be very effective coming off the bench because, you know, when teams tire, because you know what, you know, that high pressing game that Tottenham play, okay, it's all action. They will tire. Right? I think if you've got somebody like him coming on, and you know. I don't do full kit wanker, mate. Sorry. Sorry, boys.
At least we can fit in Arsenal merchandise, Danny.
But you know,
love you.
It's something like Iwobi coming on, you know, all sort of tricks. It could be quite useful, but it's all going to depend who's fit, isn't it?
I've just hurt Danny's feelings now. Sorry. No. Liverpool winning again, by the way. So
Oh no!
never mind.
Did Pogba score, or was it Ibrahimovic?
Neither. It's Cavani. I think that's as good a place to leave it as any. I think for this week we've covered a lot of ground. It's been good. We've gone through lots of things. We'll be back after the midweek game with Ludogorets.
Are you doing that one?
I don't think I am. I think that's you again, Jack. It's either you or John because I'm hosting the pod on Thursday.
No, bro, just let me know. Not a problem.
I get to put my feet up again. So for those of you that don't know, Mr. Gimley is on a break at the moment. He's got quite a few bits and bobs going on. So me and Jace are sharing the podcasting hosting duties at the moment, and therefore we're hosting the radio hosting duties as well. So don't worry, I haven't lost my smile or anything. I'm still here. It's just a lot going on. So you might see some different faces interspersed throughout the weeks coming up. But thank you very much for everyone for joining us today. If you do like what we do here, give us a little thumbs up in the diddly thingy underneath.
Kris likes a thumb up his box.
I love a thumb up my box. Thank you very much. And keep tuned in. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, because if you've got a smartphone, whenever we go live, it will ping you with a little reminder to say we're live. So you don't even have to plan anything. It's all there at your fingertips. So do that. And check out the latest podcast this week. Jace, you had yourself, Steve, Mr. Fife and Danny, wasn't it?
No, we had Raj Patel.
Oh, Raj, sorry, yes.
We had Andy, we had Dom, and we had Danny. Andrew did a synopsis of the AGM, which was quite spectacular. He's brilliant. Raj Patel was on fire. Dom was his quality self as usual. Danny gave one of the best answers I've heard to it. I dropped him a really long question because I wanted to pee in a fag. And and he was superb. It was really enjoyable. The only problem was Andrew was doing it from work, and I had my mic too close to my nose, and I had a bit banged up, so I sound like Darth Vader. Andrew's sound was a bit crap, but other than that, it was really good fun. If you're listening to this on iTunes, guys, please leave us a review. Be good to us. Be nice to us.
Get involved.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Support the idiots that do this, because we are caring the community.
We definitely are. I can absolutely agree with that. Right. Okay. Mr. Shredder, thank you from all the way in North Kakalaki.
Yes, thank you, boys, for having me on. Always fun to be on. I've been on with you, Kris, enough, so fun to be on with Jace.
Yeah, always good. Go Panthers.
Excellent.
Yes. although we're quite shit right now.
Oh yeah, 1-5.
God, Jesus, American
What are you
football,
gonna do?
whatever next.
Can't win it every year.
Thank you, Mr. Davies, as well, for stepping in again.
Oh, it's a pleasure, you bastards. I'm not being funny. I think you lot are taking a piss out of me.
We are. We're still in the donkey.
Oh yeah, I'm not very well, John Welsh.
I said, don't blame me. Blame the Welsh. It's his fault.
Oh look, you did it to me this week. You did it to me Tuesday. Oh
fair
no!
enough.
Oh
I'll let you
no! I've got to wash my hair just like I came out of a salon. John Welsh today. Oh, I got a sore beard. Oh, I got beard AIDS.
What a funny. Dear, never mind. Right, that was AVW Radio post Sunderland 1 Arsenal 4. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Yes,
sorry. Jace has got one more thing. Go on, Jace.
Dave Faber was on our blog.
Yes, he was. Yes. Give that a listen as well.
And once again, Dave Faber is an absolute star.
Pro. That's what we like to hear. Do as I say, do subscribe, do give us a review, do give us a thumbs up, and keep it Arsenal. We'll be back after Ludogorets in midweek. Good result today. Let's keep it positive. Keep it Arsenal, and we'll speak to you all very soon. Cheerio.
And Martin Atkinson can go fuck himself.
Bye.